First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Hasan Almusanna, and I'm from X-3 Group 4. So today, me and my friend gonna talk about one problem of linear programming. Maybe some of you doesn't understand, doesn't know this material. So linear programming are one of material in mathematical analysis and approach. So what we're gonna talk here, we're gonna talk about the agricultural planning of established crops based on its effectivity using linear programming. I think it's unique, right? So first of all, before we come to the materials, I will introduce you my friends that will help me to present these materials. So we are from Group 4 that consists of me, Hasan Almusanna, and Kevin Raditya Mahendra, Muhammad Fajar Aulia, Malika Rakhshanda, Muhammad Jibril, Muhammad Fadhil, and also Muhammad Faqih. So stay focused and watch.
Now for the background of our project, so as we know, the agriculture sector is one of the most important sectors in our country and probably the other country too. And did you also know that the climate change that are actually happening to the world right now was actually pushing our farmers to further managing their farm crops so that they can maximize their total crop yield. And in that case, we can actually use the concepts of linear programming in agricultural planning. So if you want to be a farmer, then you should follow this tip. So as we can see here, there's a lot of different crops after harvesting in the picture. So each of different types of crop in the picture has different rate of productions that affects their effectiveness. Therefore, the application of linear programming will be very useful and also needed in the agriculture planning. And there's a problem statement. There are three variables or something that will affect our calculation that we're gonna do. The first one is the crop productivity, the second was the total agricultural land, and third was the price of the crops. And why is that? Why does it affect our calculations? Simple. So the more crop production that you do from farming, the total agricultural land that you use for farming, the higher the price of the crops after farming determines our calculation in the end, and because of the more profit that we will get from it. Next is the project objective. So there are three things that are gonna be our objective. The first one is determining the crops that are used in agriculture planning in Indonesia. The second one was calculating the maximum profit that we can acquire from the given data. The third one is determining the maximum yield from the land that are used in the agriculture planning in Indonesia.
Data and analysis. From the Indonesian food crop consumption chart published by the Indonesia Bureau of Statistics, we are able to see that the most consumed commodity is rice and corn. Therefore, the crops that we will use in the process of agricultural planning are rice and corn. Productivity rate of rice is 5,240 kg per 10,000 meters square, and productivity rate of corn is 4,100 kg per 10,000 meters square. And also we have information that the average cost of the agricultural land area is 312,500 per 1,000 meters square, and the average land that farmer own in Indonesia is 0.8 hectares. And based on the Indonesia Ministry of Trade, we get information that price in the market for corn is 5,300 per kilogram, and production cost is 3,400 per kilogram. For rice is price in the market 12,170 per kilogram, and production cost of rice is 10,700 per kilogram. We also have additional information regarding to this case from the research from the USDA showing that the percentage of corn that needed to be cultivated to get the optimal result is maximum 40% from the total plants that being cultivated. And the regulation that established by the Indonesia Bureau of Logistics or Bulog is determining that minimum amount of rice being cultivated is 15% from the total land.
formulation part. So from the data that we have gathered here, we can conclude the calculation, which is the first one is the total agricultural land, which is 0.8 hectares times 10,000 meters square is equal to 8,000 meters square. For the corn productivity rate, it is 0.41 kilogram per meter square. For the corn price, it is 5,300 rupiah per kilogram. For the corn cost, it is 3,400 rupiah per kilogram. For the rice productivity rate, it is 0.524 kilogram per meter square. And for the rice price, it is 12,170 rupiah per kilogram. And for the rice cost, it is 10,700 rupiah per kilogram. Now, for the maximum corn cultivated, it is 40% of other crops, and for the minimum rice cultivated, it is 15% from total land. Therefore, the cultivating process cost it is 312,500 rupiah times 8. It is 2,500,000 rupiah. For the corn profit per kilogram is 1,900 rupiah per kilogram. And then for the rice profit per kilogram, it is 1,310 rupiah per kilogram. Therefore, the corn profit per meter square, it is 779 rupiah per meter square. And the rice profit per meter square, it is 686 rupiah per meter square. Move on to the next slide. The first one is the constraint for this problem. There are 4 bullets. The first one, or A, it is total crops area must be less or equal to 8,000 meters square. The B, it is total area of corn cultivated must be less than or equal to 40% of rice area. C, the rice that is cultivated must be more than or equal to 15% of the total crop area. And D, the profit that is generated must be more than 2,500,000 rupiah. The next one is the linear programming models. We assume that X is the total area of the rice cultivated in meters square, and Y is the total area of corn cultivated, also measured in meters square. We conclude that there are 4 bullet points. The first one is X plus Y is less than or equal to 8,000. The second bullet point is 0.4x is greater than or equal to y. The third bullet point, x is greater than or equal to 1,200. And the last bullet point is 688x plus 779y is greater than 2,500,000.
Okay, so the next one is to count the maximum yield of crops from the land. Previously, we already know the productivity rate of both crops, and now we are able to change the data into function. This function with constraint of x as the total area of rice cultivated, y is total area of corn cultivated, and 8,000 as the maximum area. From the function, we know that the maximum yield of crops that can obtain from the land is by maximizing the value of x, that is, x equals 8,000. Therefore, productivity rate of rice times 8,000 equals 4,192 kilograms. Then we can check it with the constraint, like we know before. X plus y is less than 8,000. 40% of x is more than y. X is more than or equal to 50% of the total crop area, and the profit that is generated must be more than 2,500,000 rupiah. Therefore, we can conclude that the maximum possible yield of crops is 4,192 kilograms of rice.
And the next is about maximum profit that can be obtained. we can use the linear programming that relevant to this case is x plus y less than or equal to 8,000, 0.4x greater than or equal to y, and x is greater than or equal to 1,200. 6x 6x plus 779y is greater than 2,005,000. That we can use the graphic models to find the intersect point from the equality such as GeoGebra or Desmos, and the intersect point indicating the most optimum solution from the inequality. I'm sorry. And from the graph, like we obtain this two point is the option 1 this, and this the option 2. And after that, we can see that the most value that able to be gained is through option 2. Therefore, after some rounding, recognizing and the constraint 0.4x greater than or equals to y, the value of x and y is x is equal to 5715 and y is equal to 2285. And therefore, from the result identified from the graphic, we can calculate that the maximum profit that can be obtained in the agricultural and this is the component x and this is the component y. And after that, we adding them, and the maximum profit that able to gain from the agricultural land is 11,800,000 to 8,150 rupiah. For the conclusion, the agricultural plan that is appropriate from farmers in Indonesia consider the factors such as Indonesian citizen consumption rate, expense, marketplace, and cost, while also implementing the optimum methods and governmental regulation. The agricultural planning is calculated in the context of the average Indonesia farmer-owned agricultural land that is 8,000 meters square, and for the agricultural plan or maximizing the crop yields is corn is equal to 0 and rice is equal to 8,000 meters square with the yield of 4,192 kilograms of produce. Agricultural plan for maximizing the profit is corn is equals to 285 meters square and rice is 5715 meters square, with the maximum profit is 11,800,000 to 8,150 rupiah.
So, how do you think, guys? Very interesting, right? Like, we can combine the agricultural things and the mathematics. I think it's a new things for me. So maybe that's all from our group. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Ciao.